we copy. And you find out, you start studying society and culture, you see everybody's copying somebody. People think that they're original, and there's some people that are original, but most people are copycats. And this happens everywhere. It happens in even recitation Quran. You'll find that people, they pick a scholar that they love, a reciter that they love, and they recite after them. They do that in the singing industry, in the music industry. All over, they copy. There's an old saying, imitation is the sincerest of flattery. You know, you want to really flatter someone, you imitate them, right? So that's the way we are. And therefore, we as Muslims take advantage of that in a few ways. But let me tell you the way I want to take advantage tonight, just for a few moments. The words of the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, he said, "Qarni ummati, khayru ummati qarni, thumma yalunahum, thumma yalunahum." Right? The best of my ummah, khayru ummati qarni, thumma ladina yalunahum. Right? Thumma ladina yalunahum. Right? The best of my ummah is my generation, and then the generation that follows it, and then the generation that follows it. And why is that important? Because the MSA, even though there was not an MSA during the time of the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, but there were youth. And if you want to imitate the right people, don't imitate the people that we have today. They're not to be imitated, but rather imitate that community 1,400 years ago. Let me tell you something about them in one sentence. You will notice that those young people in those days, they didn't have like a separate group. They were integrated in the ummah. They were integrated in every kind of way that you can imagine. Whatever the adults did, they did. And when you find out, when you read many hadith, you will find out that, and it's evident, that when the salat was made, the youth was there. Everybody was there. The women were there. The children were there. Everyone was there. Even though the women didn't have to come to the masjid, they were there. And they would fill up the masjid. And that's the way it was, and that's how they developed. And every aspect of the Islam, they were doing it. Let me make something now. I'm going to say something now that don't get nervous when people talk about jihad. Don't get nervous. Jihad is not a nasty thing. Jihad is a wonderful thing. It's not a crazy thing. It's a wonderful thing. I call your attention to November 13th, 1863. Anybody know what happened? November, I think it was 13th, 1863. Ha! Who said that? How do you know that? Huh? U.S. history. You know, President Lincoln gave one of the greatest speeches, in my estimation, one of the greatest speeches ever. And ironically, he said in the speech, they were dedicating this place called Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, was one of the turning points of the war. And the Union had gained a great victory, but at a tremendous cost. Many people lost their lives. A lot of young people lost their lives. And so he took a part of that battlefield to put as a cemetery. And that day he was dedicating that part of the land as a cemetery. And he said, one of the things that he said was interesting. He said, the world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but they will never forget what they did here. And the day that he was referring to were those men living and dead. He said, in fact, they consecrated this land, not us. We didn't do anything. So I'm saying that in this country, there are holidays commemorating men and women who gave their lives for this country. This is all over the world. You know, war is a necessary evil. I hate war. Really, honestly, if it was up to me, all these weapons that we have, nuclear weapons, I would get rid of them. If I know how to do it, I would do it. If I can make myself invisible, yeah, man, I make myself, I get rid of all those weapons. You know, we need to go back, we need to go back to the days of the swords. You know why? because it's mano to mano. You look the guy in the eye. You know what I mean? See? Yeah, man. See, the way it is now, you know, people it's like a video game. Soldiers in the planes, right? And they press buttons, and they can't even see the people that they're killing. So what I'm saying is that don't be ashamed of looking at our history. Don't erase anything about history. Don't erase anything from the Quran or anything from the Sunnah. Because whatever's in the Quran and whatever's in the Sunnah is good for us. Now, point number one, what do you have to do as MSA? What do you have to do? The number one thing that you have to do is survive as a Muslim. Let me tell you what I mean. When you get a chance, I want you to do some research. By the way, I'm a researcher. You know, Sheikh, I don't really like to speak. I'm not a speaker. I'm not a speaker. What? I'm not a speaker. I'm not a speaker. No. But I like to research, and that's what I do. I research and I study. I speak because I have to. I'm really shy, by the way. Why do people think I'm shy? I really am really shy, right? So I speak because I have to speak. But I'm a researcher, and let me tell you this. When I hear things, I research it. I don't just believe it. Even if they come from Muslims. For instance, you know what happened? It's my scholar here. What happened 1969 in America? Oh man, who said that? You said it? That's right. Shane, come on. I heard this school was smart. Are you from the school? You know, huh? Oh, okay. What's his name who took the first Neil Armstrong, right? How many of you heard that when Neil Armstrong went to the moon, he heard the adhan? How many heard that? And when he heard the adhan, he took shahada when he got back. How many heard that? How many believe that? Now, you know, see, it sounds real good, man. I mean, it sounds good. He went on the moon and heard the adhan? I mean, that sounds real good, right? But I researched it. And they said, well, you know, and he lives in Lebanon. And that's true. He does. He lives in Lebanon. Lebanon West, not Middle West, not Middle East. So he does live in a city called Lebanon, right? But not that Lebanon. Now, he had press conferences after press conferences. He said, I'm a Muslim. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend nobody, but I'm not a Muslim, so he's not a Muslim. How many heard Michael Jackson took shahada? Ooh. How many believe it? You believe it? Yeah. And Neil Armstrong walked on the moon and heard the adhan. Now, wait, you want the truth or what? Okay, all right, okay. Now, what I do, I check. The report said that Dawood Wansby, he witnessed it. Yusuf Islam witnessed it, and some other sheikh, right? So I started researching. I spoke to Yusuf Islam myself directly. I said, Yusuf, did you witness Michael Jackson taking shahada? He said, Imam, no such thing. I don't know where they get that from. He spoke to Dawood. Dawood said, no such thing. Where they get that from? And I just heard last few days that his brother's Muslim. There's no doubt about that. He's Muslim. But I heard from someone that I respect and trust that Jermaine said Michael did not take shahada. So Allah knows best. If he did it privately, then it's with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I just think that it's important to always investigate. And let me give you as an aside. Now, I know what happens. I see myself going in a certain direction. I only wanted to speak to you a couple of minutes, really. Seriously. No, really, that was my plan. I was going to speak to you